All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 87 of the Dorton and Doetkott Debate Podcast. No, folks, this is not the Masters. This is not the U.S. Open. Sam Stier joining us on the show. But first, we have to watch this golf competition, folks, between him and his daughter. We have to see who wins.
Your turn.
Amazing putt here. The downwind doesn't seem to be hurting them too much. Getting the read of the green.
No, it was broken.
Getting the read of the green here, folks. That looks like it went into me. Get the close up. There we go.
There we go. There we go, Blakely.
Blakely, great job. Great job.
Pressure's on, Sam.
Hi.
Good job, Blakely. That was unbelievable. You're so good.
And now it's time for you to
Go upstairs.
All right.
That has to be probably one of the most electric entrances you've ever had to a podcast.
I tried to do my best, Lucas. I tried to do my best. And I'm going to say this on the pod so that no one knows I said it. No one says Lucas is a G. And Nicholas's last name is pronounced Doetkott.
Yes.
Doetkott.
Nolan, I love you.
It is not all. It's Doetkott. Get it right.
You bet.
Right. Sam, you are the GOAT, Sam. You are the GOAT. This
No,
is
actually, right here.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, folks, this is Sam's second time joining the podcast. I think the first time he was on here was like 4 years ago. I hadn't even moved back to Minnesota yet. I was still in Colorado. So thank you once again for joining the show. Thank you again.
I appreciate for having me. I think this is awesome what you guys are doing. Last time I was here, we had come off a season that we had made a run with this man right here.
Yep.
And now it's kind of surreal this year. So,
and that's kind of a good segue into what I wanted to bring up next. Obviously a super tough season for you guys, with what happened with your friend, brother, teammate, Shane. So just, I guess, talk to me a little bit about him for people who have probably heard about him in the recent weeks here, but maybe don't know much about who Shane was as a person.
Well, I don't think it's fair for me to be the one. I think there's guys like JC and Andrew Klein and Luke Sellner, obviously his brother, Bobby, his mom, Tracy, Rick, our manager. I think those are the people that really get to have. Sorry about my cell phone in the back.
No,
wrong
you're
time
good.
But I think those guys really would have a good idea of what the right words are. But I do know that I was raised on the Caswell softball fields with Rick and my dad playing softball together. Shane and I were playing under the turtle at Caswell, the old Caswell turtle, if you remember before when they had the park there. And then we played Townball together with the Mets, actually, before both of us came to the Indians at different times. JC joined in with that too.
Popular guy.
I'm not. That's ridiculous.
Everyone knew you were coming on the show. They had to hit you up.
They all of a sudden ask the questions you asked for. But I don't want to take away from Shane. Shane's
Right.
a 100% man, great human being. He wasn't afraid to tell you what is really eating at him, which is a strength of his. And then he also wasn't afraid to tell you what he thought on baseball stuff, right? Like, this is what I think we should do. I really don't like that. But he also knew where his role lied in all of it, whether it was as a leader, as a role player, whenever it was, he was great. But he brought the community together. If you watch just how widespread the 2-2s got, I mean,
Absolutely.
He wasn't just Waterville. He was Mankato. He was Marshall. Everywhere he went, he brought people into it. And I think that was some solace for us, like some help for us to just kind of see how much of an impact he had for us to really realize, not that we didn't before, but for us to really see his true impact on the baseball community and what it means to play town team baseball. And so that's been a good driving force. But I mean, can I say damn on your show?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Damn it, we'd love to have him here still, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that was great. I never had the chance to meet Shane, unfortunately, but I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head based off of the amount of people that I saw sharing the GoFundMe that was created not too long after, and just yeah, like you mentioned, all the twos from how many different just random Townball Twitter pages as well too, and the tributes that they did as well was pretty unbelievable to see, and that was amazing to see. Um, and again, I know I talked about it a little bit before, a few episodes ago too, and when we had Zach Saboy on, but on our Twitter page as well too, for anyone listening, that GoFundMe is still pinned at the top of the Twitter page. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's I'm gonna keep it up there for forever, and then certainly just donate anything if you can. That would be pretty awesome. That'd be pretty awesome.
absolutely, he's and I want to be clear on this. He's not just a baseball guy. He was a very good dad to his kids, very good husband to his wife, and a great son to his parents. But also just a good friend in general. I mean, he was a driving force for us for a while, and there's nothing I can take away from anything he's done except for I want to be remembered like that. Like that's what he's left behind is a legacy that you can't take away.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's super cool. That's cool. And you don't get that kind of reaction from like you had without being, I mean, obviously a great ball player can get you a little bit of the ways too, but just being a human and being a great person as well too. That's amazing to see. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty
I'll
cool.
give you some honesty too. Being in Townball, I played with him for 12 years. I'm sure Doetkott and Alex have not always gotten along. I know they haven't always gotten along, but I played with him for 12 years. And so we had our disagreements, we had our ups and downs, we had our all and he was a brother. He was a brother.
Those are the kind of people you want in your life, right? That are going to tell you the hard things when you need to hear it, and it might not be easy to hear it, but you're like, yeah, you're probably right, or you appreciate that. So that's cool to hear too.
Whether it takes 5 days or 2 hours.
Yep. Yep. Or a Facebook post off of the Twins that.
Now you're talking Doetkott there.
No.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you saying that, Shane, or Sam. That was pretty cool to start the show here with that. We got little bit of the Masters to start. Got the talk some in here, and now we can get to some Townball. What do you say? What do you say?
I'm in on that.
Let's do it. Awesome. Well, if you've listened to some of our other Townball shows, I kind of like to start by getting to know our guests that we have on a little bit. And if not, then you're going to get a little bit of get to know you type questions. Some baseball fandom questions here. So the first one I have for you, Sam, I'm assuming Minnesota Twins, that's the team.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Like I said,
I mean, Twins and Red Sox before they won. So not a.
To clarify, you're not a bandwagon.
Not a bandwagon. Yes.
That's good.
And Nick knows I'm not. Not. He knows I'm real on this.
Yep.
I post DP stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So then a double part question there for you. Who is your all-time favorite Minnesota Twin and your all-time favorite Boston Red Sox player?
Kirby Puckett, Dustin Pedroia. That's not even a question.
Okay. Easy. I love it.
David Ortiz made it hard because he was both.
True.
Yeah.
I watched him hit a walk-off home run in the Metrodome. You know that old building that we used to have?
Yep.
And then I watched him hit the walk-offs against for the Red Sox against the Yankees. And I remember watching the Twins game. I'm like, why would anybody make this guy go the other way? Just let him pull it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it was a pull hit that he actually walked off at the Twins Stadium. 12-year-old holding beer boxes, the back of the beer, the cardboard for the sign of "Go Twins," right? Middle of center field, and watched him hit that thing. And walk-off home run walk-off hit next year, he's with the Red Sox. and they get to the ALCS and they lose to Boone's home run
Oh, wow.
in 03.
Sure. Okay.
And then 04, he's the one that carries them after the stolen base, right? But he's the one that carries them into extras and throughout that series. And then he says, this is my effing city. Can't hate the guy, but I got to go Kirby Puckett and Dustin Pedroia.
I love it.
I got a buddy and a coworker who's a big Red Sox fan, and he loves himself some Dustin Pedroia, so he'd appreciate that answer.
I just shared the interview where he ends it with, "Can I go home?"
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorites, I guess, maybe Red Sox Pedroia moment came at the expense of my Colorado Rockies was when they were playing in Colorado and he hit 3 bombs against us. And then he said how that was the laser show. So everyone referred to him as the laser show. After that, he hit 3 bombs against the Rockies at a game that I was at. So that was not a fun one to be. Got to see Big Poppy play first base.
I do feel bad for you because you haven't had anybody but Helton and Arenado for a while. So
that is
too low for a while.
Tulo, Story, LeMahieu, like mid 2010s. Yeah, not terrible, but yeah.
Well, LeMahieu was also a Yankee in Rockies clothing, so
right. Yeah, like a lot of our players are. Like a lot of our players are. Yeah, at one point or another, we're just the rest of the league's farm system is the way I kind of look at it.
Hey, Twins used to be that way. We're getting better.
You passed off.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
If it's up to Doetkott, he'd be the manager, but
yes, I would.
That's good.
It at least wouldn't be Rocco. It at least wouldn't be him. Just put a mannequin out there with a Twins hat on for all I care.
Well, notice, Nick, I'm not calling you Nick. I always call you Nick, but I'm calling you Doetkott because I want people to know how to pronounce your name. I'm trying to help you out here.
Good man.
That's good. Okay, Sam, now who is your favorite all-time non-Twins and Red Sox player? Now, they could have maybe played for them at one point, but they're primarily known for having played somewhere else.
This is tough. I want to go with Satchel Paige.
Okay.
But I never saw him play, so I feel like it's an unfair. Like, I'm just reading the stories on him, right?
Sure. Yep.
Guy that I've actually watched, non-Twin, non-Red Sox, probably Sammy Sosa.
Okay, Slam and Sammy. Sure.
Ken Griffey. I like the hat backwards too.
Yep.
There's too many to name. I'm gonna stick with Sammy on this because I was in love with him in 2001.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted him so bad to beat Mark McGwire. I don't care about steroids or not. I just wanted Sammy Sosa to win that race.
So what was why Sammy over Mark McGwire? Where did that just?
You can't get rid of the flag that he carried around the whole stadium.
Absolutely, yeah.
That was awesome.
It wasn't patriotism. That was just really cool. I think it was actually like he kind of started the home run trot. If you think about it, he kind of started the pimping the home runs and the whole thing on the way home. Like I don't know. I thought it was cool. I just like Sammy, and he has my same name, so it was.
There you go. That's a good reason.
I defended him on corking bats before I defended him on steroids. So it was all about Sammy.
That's good.
Are you slamming Sammy?
Am I corking bats? No. And if you watch me play, you know I'm not corking bats.
Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I know.
We'll be the judge of that. We'll be the judge of that. No. Okay, now
I don't swing hard enough to break them.
That's fair. That's fair. Now this is an interest. This is a newer one we've added. But who's your favorite, like, most obscure Twins or Red Sox player that, like, might not have ever been the best or everyone's favorite, but just someone that, like, you really appreciated that maybe didn't get a ton of success?
I got 3.
Let's hear it.
I got 3 already.
Let's hear it.
3.
Jock Jones for the Twins.
That's a common one. Jock Jones. Everybody loves him.
I fell in love with him when I was younger.
Yeah,
Jock Jones. For the Red Sox, Kevin Youkilis, which is not that obscure, but they won World Series. So it's and Jason Varitek, they won World Series. So they're not that obscure. So I'll give you a better one. Luis Garcia Guzman.
Okay.
That middle infield for the Twins. Oh my God.
Okay.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Guzman Garcia. Yeah, I got to stop there. Millar's an easy one, but
Kevin Millar.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. He's all over every podcast for the
Had the
Red
walk.
Sox.
Had
He
the
doesn't.
walk.
Kevin Millar was the St. Paul Saint.
He was. And that story, by the way, if you ever seen the Netflix special on the Saints and how that whole story is so cool.
I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
haven't watched it, but I know about it. I've got it on my list.
MJ played for the Saints owner's dad,
Really?
Vec. Was it Bill Vec? Is that right?
Sounds
There's
right.
some connection there
Could-
between Bill Vec and
Yeah, because
MJ.
that would have been
Huh.
the White Sox. Yeah, I mean, mate, I have no idea.
He was the
True.
AAA guy at the time,
Yep.
but something like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Wow. Look, we just got a little bit smarter today. Now we have like a total of 3 IQ points between Nick and I now, so it's good. That's good.
That's all my IQ points right there.
I have 2.
Just hit them all.
No, Nick. There, make no mistake.
If we have a total of 3, I have at least 2 of those.
We know who has the 2. We know who has the 2. Anyways, we'll keep going. We'll keep
Yeah,
going.
your big head.
Yeah. Hey,
Nick, we can
All
split the other
brains.
half. It's fine.
all the brains.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's the G. Remember, Nolan Gross said it.
That Nolan Gross did call me a G.
I
I didn't say
suppose.
Nick was a G, so that's good. Sweet. So let's get into some Townball now. That's the purpose why we're having you on here. So we'll dive into that a little bit. So Sam, talk to me a little bit about how you first got into Townball. You mentioned you played on another team before Waterville now, but just I guess what was your first intro to Townball?
So I actually played for 2 different teams. Played for the Blue Sox in Austin at the age of 15 or 16, like that summer. My birthday's in the summer, so I turned 15. I turned 16 during the summer. But I played for them. I was a role player. I was just kind of asked to be on the team based on, Austin at that time had like 7 teams in the area.
Oh my God.
3 that were called Austin, right? So we had a bunch of teams, and the Blue Sox asked me, my defensive coordinator in football happened to play on it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll play. And I just wanted to play baseball as much as I could. So I kind of got introduced to it there, came to Mankato, and the Mankato Mets were starting up as a C team at the time, because there was the Twins at B, and then the Mets were going to be the C team at the town, kind of like what Cold Spring does, what Marshall does, what New Ulm does or did before. So it was common practice. But I'm playing on this team and just really enjoyed. I was playing with, it was Josh Anderson, we call him Ando. He was the manager of the team. Enjoyed it. I stayed in Mankato, then got my release from Austin, came to Mankato, and then after playing there for 4 years, we ended up being a B team as the road went on. So had a 3rd place appearance in state 1 year, and then the next year we were B. And that year was the same year I got a job in Waterville to be the head baseball coach. So I decided to play for Waterville, and then playing in Waterville. So I've got some different experiences with the levels of play and all that, but C is definitely my favorite to play. The competition is there every single day, and it's not a college league. It's not a pro league. It's not a former, you know what I mean? Like these are your dudes. Like you're going to battle with your dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whether you have Facebook arguments with them or not, Nick, but you're going to battle with your dudes, and it's so much fun. I love these guys.
Absolutely. So talk to me about, I guess, your first year on Waterville. Coming in, it sounded like already having some Townball experience, kind of understanding what it was about. What was your first year like on the team? Were you kind of asked to be more of like a veteran type role, or was it just, you kind of had to earn your spot and kind of figure out your place around there?
Well, coming from playing college ball and playing already before, I was expected to be a benefit to the team. I'll put it that way.
Sure.
I don't know if they called on me to be a veteran. I wouldn't put it that way, but the first game we played felt awkward. Honestly, right away, I'm on a different team. I don't really know half the guys. And then got my first hit, and guy in right field happened to overrun the ball, and I just ran to third on my own, not looking at sign, like I don't know anybody, so I'm just going to do what I think is best and slide in there, and they get in the dugout and they go, "You're reckless, aren't you?" I'm like, kinda. Get ready for it. And so ever since then, though, I've been I've been kind of just one of the sparks. Like I'm not the spark, but we have a team full of them, right? But I'm one of the guys that can, at any moment, can get things going, but it's not put on me. And I think that's what's beautiful about our team with Waterville, how it's grown, I should say, in Waterville, is that there's 9 guys that can all of a sudden just turn the game over and change momentum. And Nick, I'm on your side with that one. Okay, I know Alex hates momentum, but we can change how that goes at any given point with any guy in the lineup. And I think that's where I realized I was in the right place, was because this place is a place that believes in just find a way to get on, and we'll make something happen with you.
Yeah. I seem to remember you bunting for a hit a couple times against us.
Don't play back.
Yeah, you definitely exploit it when the third baseman plays back.
Yeah, but when they play in, I also stand in the box and go, "Hey, back up."
We've learned our lesson now.
That's good. So a lot of times, you hear in sports the phrase like, "you're welcome to the league" moment. Sometimes like that. Did you, when you first started in Townball, and then after that, you can just take me through each team. Did you ever have that, like, maybe, hey, this isn't like anything, like this isn't just regular high school ball, like this is something totally different, and it could be not necessarily for like the talent level, but just be like, yeah, this is just like, this just feels different. Did you ever have that or no?
With each team, yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So the Blue Sox, I'm 15 years old, and I get in the box against a guy that was 4 years older than me from my high school, and he's pitching against me from a different Austin team. And I'm like, all right, welcome to the league. Like, I've got this guy that probably would have owned me 4 years ago, but now circumstances have changed, and now we're facing each other. We're on an even playing field now. Let's see what happens, right? So that was kind of one. Then going to Mankato, when I was on the Mankato Mets, it would have been playing the Greyhounds from Austin. So a different Austin team, but playing the Greyhounds and facing off with guys that I grew up watching. Like, I would spend my Fridays and Sunday nights, like many kids do now, and I would go and get ice cream at the ice cream truck and watch the game, sit in the stands and go, look at Tim Kirby right now, who played hockey for the Air Force. Like, he's out there right now, and I'm just in awe. And now I'm facing the same guys and playing with them, or watching those guys on a football field 5 years older than me. And now I'm playing against them.
Yeah.
So I think that was my come to realization moment with the Mets. And then with the Waterville Indians, it was more like, it was it's a very special thing in Waterville in the first place, always has been. There's a very special vibe. I don't really think anybody can truly understand it unless they're part of that team. Sure. So like Arlington probably has a different feel. I would guess that, and that's a shout out to Nick, by the way, people. Every team has a different feel to it, right? And Waterville's feel was just like, oh, I'm home. And that didn't come immediately, but it came within the first 3 games. I can't tell you the exact moment when, but it was just like, oh, this is the team I want to play for forever. Like, yeah. I'm not leaving this.
Yeah, so right? Waterville gave you a lifetime contract.
I think I've given them one. I don't know if they still want me to stick around all the time. But I'm not. Don't give me too much credit on that one. But I do love the team and what they've done, and how they've approached. And part of that comes from, I've coached a lot of the guys that now play on. I'm the oldest guy on the team now, which is beyond me. I'm not that old, but
yeah, you're the oldest guy on the team.
I'm the oldest guy on the team.
Wow.
Interesting.
And I coached about 75% of it in high school. Wow. So that's kind of like, that's where it's really a special bond. Pretty cool thing.
Yeah. You get to coach them up, and now you're playing alongside them. That's gotta be pretty sweet.
Yeah, now they coach me up, because I screw up a lot more when I play than I do when I coach. So
whatever gets the job done. Whatever gets the job done.
That's right.
That's good.
You're just using your mistakes to teach them for when it comes time
Well,
to them.
I've always done that. They just didn't know I was making them.
There you go.
Now they're like, oh, everything checks out now. I
Yeah.
understand. I
Oh, he
understand.
does know what that feels like because he did every other game.
No, I coached varsity for MVL 2 years ago, and all of a sudden it was like one of the first games I played since I had taken the job. Luke Dose was standing on third base and I'm on second, and it was like it was an overthrow or something, and I just bolt to third base. I'm almost all the way to third, and I realized Luke Dose is still standing on third base. I'm like, wait, what the heck am I doing? Why the heck did I just run? And all of a sudden I just get ourselves in a pickle and I get taken down, the inning's over. I'm like, oh my God, if one of my players did that, I would not be happy. And now here I'm doing it. I'm like, frick. I gotta hold myself to really high standards now. I can't make these stupid mistakes when I tell my kids not to.
I've got one like that. we were playing Bell Plain, and Pat Schultz was still catching for him.
Yeah.
And he faked a throw to second, a back throw. And I was trying to bait him into a back throw. And he caught me. That's my dog, by the way. She's really happy.
What's your dog's name?
Puckett.
Puckett. We're a pet friendly podcast. Jeter joined the show a few times ago, so gotta have Puckett.
Puckett.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you need another dog.
Macy
Name
in
it
the corner,
Pedroia.
but yeah. Macy's old though. Puckett, named after Kirby.
Yeah.
Love it.
But Pat Schultz behind the plate, fakes the throw to second. I take off 2 hard steps to third. And then I realized he didn't throw the ball, and I went, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there on an island, get thrown out. And my dad, I'm not kidding you, my dad's in the concession stand. He just slams the counter. I heard it from second base. Slams the counter. What the hell are you doing? Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm
Trust
like,
me.
so I go to get a Gatorade an inning later, and he's working the concession stand. I'm like hoping to get somebody else, and he's the one that comes up. He goes, so Sam, you do know that he knows what you're like. You just try to do that against the smartest catcher in the region right now. And
Pat Schultz was a hell of a catcher.
But how cool would it have been if it worked? What do you like? It's done and over with. What am I supposed to say?
I 1000% understand what you're saying. I got picked off against a righty somehow in a game, although I did get out of it. I ended up getting a second. I got lucky. They overthrew it, and I ended up getting out of the pickle and got a second. And then, I don't know, 5 innings later, I try to steal third, and the guy picks me off. I'm like, oh my God, what a rough day this is. And I'm just thinking, oh Lord, I can't wait to hear what Dad says after the game. I'm like, man, I got to find something to do, some field work after the game for quite a while, so I could just avoid this confrontation.
Get him home.
I'm like, I know he's gonna let me hear how stupid of a base running decision I made.
And did he?
Well,
I mean, he did. I mean, he wasn't wrong. I mean, it's not like he said, he's like, yeah, I wasn't impressed with your base runner, but you got the bunt down, so hey, I got a compliment out of it. But yeah, I seen it coming. I deserved it. It was pretty bad base running. I won't do it again.
Well, that's the beauty of Townball, right? Like our parents, our grandparents, uncles, aunts, the whole community's invested in it. And one of the really cool things about Waterville is as things have progressed this summer, especially with our floods and stuff, that we've had more and more people looking for entertainment, and their entertainment, they're finding it at the field. And so we're having more and more people come there. I mean, it's just a lot of cool experiences. And I think there was, I heard this at Davis's today. I went to Davis's marketplace in town and talked to the owner. I was just getting like eggs and bacon, whatever, right? And he looks at me and he goes, I got a buddy that hadn't gone to a game for forever, but he just happens to be at my resort because they have a resort and stuff as well. Mm-hmm. Just happens to be at the resort. And I told him, hey, if you want something fun to do today, like go down to the field. They're playing a game. And he went down there, and all of a sudden he was at our next 5 games. He hasn't missed a game since he came that first time.
That's awesome.
That's not due to us as players. That's due to the community and the way that guys like Joe Gross, Michelle Gross. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm just going to name the top 2 on the president scale. But the way that our board and those involved really make that environment fun to be around, I think that's such a huge – it truly is a community sport.
Yeah. you mentioned the flooding, and I mean, obviously I've been to your field plenty of times, but it's basically, way down in there. I haven't been to Waterville in a while. How bad was the field?
Our field was so we played June 18th and then didn't play again until July 9th.
Okay.
I believe it was 7th,
About
maybe.
3 weeks.
So it was, and it wasn't so much the field. The field was just so saturated because it sits by the worst of it. So that the creek that goes behind the field, that creek flooded, but it didn't get to the field. It just under the ground. It had saturated so much that we couldn't handle any rain, any wet at all.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to pump it out, but we ended up pumping it out right into where it's coming back into because there's nowhere else to pump it to, right? So it was just a pointless game that we were playing, trying to get that going. But in time, so like my house sits off of Whitewater Creek about a block and a half away, not from the field, but from the creek itself. And that water came about 5 feet from my back door.
Wow.
It's a block and a half away, and it was shin deep.
Wow.
So I was like, so that was just my area, and all of that flowed down to downtown area and the lagoons. So that area was dealing with it. We're still doing flood pickup and debris pickup and stuff like that, but it's been, I mean, really, if you drive through town right now, you would be surprised that we had people. The community has been awesome. You'd be surprised that there was even a flood here in town.
Yeah, it's a community effort for sure. Like you mentioned, that is pretty cool to hear that. Yeah, obviously not cool that it happened, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Right. I make the joke because I lived in Austin with 2006, 2008 floods, those big ones, the 100-year floods that we had in 2 years. Went to college and we helped out with St. Clair's flood as Bethany baseball team, and then my first time here, there was a flood in 2014 in town. Wasn't as bad as this one, but there was a flood. And then the tornado in 2019. And then this, I'm like, just call me Noah. I'm just gather the
I was going to
animals.
say, I'm like, the floods just follow you, man.
But no, this one was definitely the worst of it. But we also had the strongest knit community involved with it. So I was very solidified in my move here with the way the community came together.
Yep. Now you mentioned Bethany baseball, obviously. Talk to me a little bit how playing there and then ended up coaching there, if I'm not mistaken, at one point down the road too, a little bit.
One spring semester. Yep.
Okay, sure. Yep. How did that role, I guess, playing there then help you out with baseball the rest of your life after that?
Gave me perspective. I think a lot of high school kids that come from I was at a small school, Class A school. I know I said Austin, but I was at the small school in Austin, not the big one. I played Legion ball with them, but just the perspective of being a big fish in a little pond, a mediocre fish in a mediocre pond, or a little fish in a big pond. All of those guys are kind of the same guy. And really, baseball is a game of ethics. So if you work at it, you're going to be okay. You're going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of opportunity to succeed. There's a lot of ways to grow. It's about finding the right place that fits you. I could have been stuck from high school in this mindset of I'm going to go here for this. I was actually recruited for football. I wasn't really actually recruited for baseball. I visited for baseball. I was mentioned as a guy to talk to in baseball, but I was never truly recruited because I kind of came on my own. I was recruited for football though. And I mean, you can't tell right here, but I'm like 5'8", 145 pounds soaking wet in high school. Probably going to be a while till I see a football field. I'm not stupid. I'm well aware. Athletic enough, sure, but not nearly where I need to be, right? And I love baseball anyway. So I guess the best lesson I would have, if there's a lesson in it, it's that no matter where you go, it's about showing up, showing out, and doing the work, putting in the work. And that work is, I think the biggest lesson I got from it personally was doing the right work.
Yep.
So just getting in the weight room and getting as big as I possibly could was great. But you go from 145 to 190 in 3 months, and it's not beer weight, like actually lifting weights and getting strong.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden your body doesn't know how to use that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do it the right way with the right coaching, find a place that fits you, persevere through it. And I think that perseverance through it is kind of what there's one champion in amateur baseball every year. And there's how many teams in Class C alone?
Like 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There's one champion. Only one team wins their last game. So to get to that point, there's a lot of perseverance. There's a lot of years. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of ups and there's a lot of that stuff that great life lessons. And really, baseball is the game of life in the long run. And I am a football coach now, but baseball is a game of life. Football is a game of teamwork. That there's if you can put the two together, you have a perfect sphere as to how you're supposed to live.
Yep.
But you got to understand what it's like to be on that team or a part of that community, if that makes sense.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think that was a way long-winded answer for a simple.
That was perfect. That was even more what I expected. That was great. That was great. Yeah, I mean, I didn't play baseball when I was at Bethany, student managed there, but I think I learned more, the 4 years that I was there than anything I had ever learned in baseball my whole life leading up to that. It just was an unreal experience, and definitely grew my love for the game, but also my knowledge just went through the roof with that, post that. So that was a ton of fun. That was a ton of fun for sure.
I think one of the things I could say legitimately is looking at the right stats to judge things by. So, there's your average, and then there's your hard hit ball percentage, and then there's your OBP, and there's your quad percentage. Which one do you look at? And depending on who you're playing with, is going to change who and what they're looking at. So your ability as a baseball player isn't really determined based on any of those numbers. It's based on what numbers that person wants to see or use, right? And I can tell anybody that ever plays for me, I'm looking at OBP. I don't care how you get on.
Just get on.
As long as you're getting on.
Yep. Does he get on base? Billy Bean.
All right, Billy Bean.
Well, don't go Billy Bean on it because I still want to steal bases. Nick knows that. We're stealing bases.
Yes. Yeah, town team is a whole different story in high school. You definitely got to steal. I mean, I wish they'd steal more in the pros still, but Ellie De La Cruz does enough of that for everybody, I guess.
Ellie De La Cruz is great. That might, you know what? That's a name I didn't even think of. I should put him up there in my non-Twin or Red Sox favorite guys to watch.
Your power rankings, yeah. Good. That's good.
Exciting.
Now, Waterville obviously has a pretty storied tradition of Townball. You kind of, touched on it a little bit before too, but just also success. I mean, just winning and knowing how to win and finding ways to do it. Again, kind of you mentioned that towards the beginning of the show with that. That's not something that just comes overnight. It's not something that just pops up one year and then, that's just what happens. It's a lot of years of tradition, of, like you mentioned, doing it the right way. So talk to me a little bit on that side of things for Waterville. How have not just you, but also the team and just everyone been able to maintain that level of success that you really want to have throughout the time that you've been there?
Well, the easy answer is we've had consistent pitching. We play pretty good defense. And we do enough offensively to put ourselves in games and keep ourselves in games and to find ways to win games. The real answer is probably different than just the baseball stuff in the field. I would say it has to do with our board, has to do with the community support, has to do with the importance of what the Indians bring, and kind of the we have kids after games that'll play with the tennis ball and a bat out in center field and play their own game while we're taking care of the field. Like, they want to be a part of it because of what the experience is. And that experience has come from community and from our board. I can't take that credit as players, but as players, we do the little things right for the most part. Can't say we always do. We can be chirpy just like anybody else.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
I can remember a game.
Yeah. It was me too. I know. But it's I think it's important for us that what we're doing matters and we bring the whole into it. And by whole I mean it's those that are a part of our Waterville Indians community, that's what I mean by the whole. Like that whole group is involved. So when the floods happened, for example, we went out, we sandbagged immediately all of our people's places, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well as staying out and continuing to work and helping out everybody else. And it's not because, hey, we're the Waterville Indians, look, we're doing this for you. It was we're out there doing it.
You
And they
care.
remember seeing this play last Saturday night, and their kid happens to be there. That kid now comes to the next game, and now he wants an autograph or whatever. So there's a very steep tradition, and I think that's what helps the success of the team. But going into regions and being superstitious, I don't want to sit here and say that we're like all talent all the time. We're just going to put our best foot forward for not what's just in the front of our jersey, but also for what we're representing this year with Shane.
Yep.
What we're representing the community when it comes to the flooding and all that. So we've been home actually quite a bit in July because of the flooding, and so our home games are now. And then we had a 1 seed in league playoffs, and we kept it the whole time. So it's our first time on the road, and I'm hoping we bring this town with us when we go.
Does your mindset change much, going from regular season into playoff mode, and then obviously, the time that you've been to state, then even one step further in the state, or does what you guys do as a team, like you mentioned, the little things, the things that you guys do well, obviously you want to carry that with you, but does mindset change? Does way in which you do things change, or do you
It
try
does when
to
you're
stay as
younger.
consistent as possible?
It does when you're younger. I don't mean to stop you on that.
No, you're good.
It's kind of fun to answer because it changes positively as you go forward, because there's more people, there's more fan experience, there's more atmosphere, but it's not the nerves. Like the nerves are almost bigger when you're playing. I'm not going to name a team because that would be an insult, but a team that doesn't travel with a lot, right? And so you don't have a lot of fan experience, and you're just like, does this game actually matter today? Or like, all right, well, am I just getting my work? Am I trying to prove myself so I can play in the big one? The nerves are almost bigger there, but it's not meant to be arrogant in any way, but being that myself being in 7 state tournaments, Nolan being in 6, many of the guys being in 6 actually. So Nolan, Ben, don't want to miss anybody, Luke, and then other guys being in 5, 4, or 3. Like we've been there before.
Yeah.
So the experience of like getting to state is harder than actually being in state. Once you're in state, it's like, all right, we're here. Anybody can win it. But the region tournament, that's where it gets tough. Like we had a 1-0 game against Arlington 3 years ago. That was the most nerve-wrenching game of my life. Right. And it was a 1-4 seed matchup. It was just nerve-wrenching because it's like they know they can beat us. They know how to beat us. We need to figure out how to hit the ball right now, and they're throwing every pitcher that we can't touch right now. This is tough for us, right? Dose was a pitcher the second year that we got, it's 2-1, right? And the only reason we beat him is because somebody hit a line up the middle and took him out of the game. And
Bullard was pitching that game.
Bullard, yeah, that was Bullard.
And Nolan Gross was the one that hit the screamer up the middle at him. Yep.
yeah. Nolan saved our lives that day because he was pitching a great game.
That was the game
that was their
where
win.
I got
that
called for runner's interference.
Yeah.
Which it was the right call, but
I wasn't going to say anything. Like I was going to give you that one and just say yeah. But
we won't get too much into that. It was the right call. Second baseman did run directly into me, I think on purpose, but props to him. He knew what he was doing. But
I know exactly who that was, and he does a lot of things like that he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows how it's going to be viewed or called. Yeah.
Yeah, he ran right into me, but I mean, I guess he's legal to do that, so.
It's his baseline.
Yeah.
No, we won't stay on that. That's going to be hard feelings. I don't want hard feelings anymore. As my dad being a Gaylord guy and having played you guys a few times, I don't think I need my Stier name in Arlington being talked about more than it needs to be.
Your dad's a Gaylord guy?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Back when they were the Gays. Way back when.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So
There you go.
anyway, but to answer the question, there's a calm there. It does happen with veteran teams, and it's weird to call us a veteran team because most of our guys are average age like 26, 25. Right? So it's weird to be called a veteran team, but we've had that experience, and I think the more that you experience those things, it becomes an expectation. But we still stay hungry to prove ourselves because there's, we haven't been in the top 10 all year this year, yet we won our league, and we're still the same group of guys, for the most part. So there's still some hunger. There's always hunger there we've been that close. So let's find a way to get that close again and then see what happens. Cause you can't control it.
Yep.
State, anything can happen. At state, the run we made in 2019, there was 2 walk-off hits and 2 one-run games.
Yeah.
And we find ourselves in the semifinals against Hutchinson and their draftee from Maple Plain. And we have the scouting report that he's just going to throw soft. And all of a sudden we get out and we're like, why can't we hit right now? Like we've been hitting all tournament. Why can't we hit right now? And the next game is Jordan. Jordan beats Hutchinson. We had lost to Jordan 2-1 for the 1 seed. So like we're right there, right at that point. And then we had the COVID season, and then we had the year after that, and then we've been back in state since. So it's kind of that
Get back there.
hunger is still there. We know how to get there. We have the guys. We've been there, done that. So really, when we get to playing games in the playoffs, it's just the same feel as playing games in early June.
I forgot you guys were in the semis that year. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The Jordan Waterville championship would have been pretty nice.
We were 2 runs away from it.
Dang. Yeah, I watched that state championship game. I don't think I've seen your guys' semifinal game, but yeah, that was in Delano, right?
Yep. So we played Maple Lake against Hutch.
Oh, okay.
Hutch got us, and to Hutch's credit, they hit the ball well against 2 of our better pitchers. But we didn't hit the draftee.
Yeah, they were a good team. I think they had like a 50-some-year-old dude pitching a couple innings too. Like, oh my god.
Not against us. Not against us. We got a complete game shutout against the draft. Maple Plain. It was the Maple Plain ace, and I talked to the Maple Plain manager before. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. And he goes, "Yeah, you guys should hit him for like 10 runs. Like honestly, you're going to get curveballs, sliders, and changeups, but he doesn't throw overpowering. Like if he gives you a fastball, hit it." And everything we hit was hard, but at the left fielder, or pop up to the first baseman, or it was a lot of atom ball.
Yep.
And he Greg Maddoxed us for a day.
Nice.
Good. That's good. So next question I have for you, and again, a common one I've asked, but I do like to ask it. A lot of times, at least for me, I tell people that I've been able to play Townball, play baseball, and for people who don't know what it is, they just are, oh, is that, slow pitch softball? Is that like a beer league, Sunday beer league or something? And I sometimes definitely struggle to find the right words to tell them. So when you have had people throughout your life that when you tell them you play Townball and they give some kind of response similar to that, I guess what is your best elevator pitch or best way to describe what Townball is to them?
That's a really good question. I think I've fallen back on once you experience it, you'll know. For the most part, what I'll tell people, that's a really tough question to answer because I'll put it this way. The only thing I do like for myself as a hobby is town team baseball.
Sure.
I love a lot of other things that I do, but those things also make me money in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
The only thing I do for myself, I don't play golf. I'd love to go fishing, but I don't have the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to go hunting and do all. The only thing that I'll do for fun for myself, the only thing I'll travel 2 hours for and buy $30 worth of energy drinks and Gatorades. Right? Like the only thing I'll do that for is town team baseball.
Yeah.
That's how ingrained it is within myself. To convince somebody that doesn't understand the game or doesn't understand that philosophy, I would just say you should just show up, just go watch, but don't go to just any game. Watch two good teams play each other in a nice environment at a nice park to really truly understand it. That could be, we're lucky down here. That could be Waterville. That could be Arlington. I'll give you a shout out, Doetkott. Could be Gaylord. Could be Jordan. Could be Belle Plaine. And I'm missing a bunch of teams here like St. Patrick and Union Hill. It could be any of those. But just go to it and see the atmosphere and be a part of the atmosphere. That's when you'll understand it. Go to a state tournament game.
Yeah.
Go to a state tournament game. You'll understand like this is like it's bigger than high school baseballs.
Thousands of people here.
Like it's nuts. But you're all playing for your own community. You're playing for your own purposes. And it's not like we're paid, not like we're going off to college. It's truly for the love of what you're doing. And I think that radiates for those in the stands, and it radiates for the communities that this is involved in. It's not the teams that don't do it for the love of the game typically don't have the great teams. The teams that do it because we're like, we want to play, we want to win, we want to win for each other. That's when it works, right? That's when you see those teams that are perennial going to the state tournament. It's not just something we do for a hobby on the side. So I don't know if that really answers the question well, but if I was to tell someone that knows nothing about town team baseball, what town team baseball is, I would tell them that it's a lot more fun than golfing on Sunday.
A good one. A good one. Yeah, we had a couple of the Morristown guys on from an episode before, and they kind of touched on that, but they also were like, yeah, I mean, there are former like Major League Baseball players and minor league guys and high level of college guys that
we played Koski last year.
Guys who have a 9 to 5 job during the day and come and play. I mean, it's just the total baseball at its purest form for sure.
I hope Koski never sees this, but I'm going to say this anyway. He did strike out 3 times against the Waterville Indians last year. So,
oh wow,
Corey Koski, third baseman for the Twins, did not get a hit. That's how good the brand is.
Hang the banner, folks. Hang the banner. Yes, yes, absolutely. That's good. That's good.
Now, granted, I was afraid because he swung big, but
I'm sure he's still awfully good at age. What?
Oh, he was killing it at Loretto. He was killing it.
Yeah,
that's a game we want back. To be honest, maybe it was 2 years. It was 2 years ago.
He's still playing, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 of his kids are on the team too.
Yeah, they're studs. They're good.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
So fun.
I hate to do this to you guys though. I do have to meet my football team to get them jerseys for a football poster that we're doing. We're doing a poster picture with the EMS.
Sure.
So yeah. I live 2 blocks away from the school, thankfully, but I told them to meet them at 5:30.
Okay.
We're doing that, and then I got a head coaches meeting for all the head coaches at 7.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll jump back on anytime you guys want. I love it, but please let me do this.
Absolutely.
So, and also shout out to Sobieski. I know they just lost their team.
Yep, I did see that as well too. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Sam. We certainly appreciate you coming on, and you have an open invite to join the show whenever you'd like. So maybe potentially going to try and get one going during the state tournament, maybe a live show there. So come by, say hi whenever. That would be certainly awesome.
Hopefully we're playing in it, and then I can walk by easily.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, awesome, folks. Nick, did you have anything else to add there?
Not really, but no, yeah, I mean, I expect you guys to be in state. We'll see. Hopefully you are. And so yeah, if you are, come stop by. You can be like the most tenured town team player on the podcast, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Most tenured town team player on my team. So we'll go there.
There you go.
Awesome, folks. Well, thank you for listening to episode 87. As for myself, Nick, and Sam, follow Waterville, how they threw the playoffs. Follow the Twitter account. And like I mentioned, I have the link to Shane Sellner's GoFundMe account pinned to the top of our Twitter page as well too. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, go and donate, share it to all your friends and family as well too. It's going to a great family. So anyways, folks, as for all of us, until next time, we are out.